Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll be doing a little bit of a warrior series. We're gonna start sitting on our heels. Yep, so grab something comfortable, hop on your mat, and meet me right here. To get started, we're gonna do some alternate nose breathing. So take your hand, your right hand, and you're going to take your pointer and your middle and you're going to bring them down to make this mudra. Okay. From here, we're going to plug our nose with our right thumb and we'll inhale through our left nostril. Once you hit the top of your inhale, plug your nose with your right ring finger and release your other one, your right thumb. Oh my gosh, where's my brain? And I'm gonna exhale through the alternate nose, nostril. Okay. Now I'll go ahead and inhale through my right nostril. And you could hear maybe it's really clogged and gross. And I'm gonna plug it back up and release. And release. Exhale, I mean. Inhale. Switch. Do that for a few rounds of breath. And when you exhale through your left nostril, you'll complete the cycle and you can meet me back here. The first thing we're going to do today is we are going to do some cat-cow. So come on up to a tabletop position. Okay, here we want to work on having a neutral spine. So again, I'm going to pay attention to my shoulders. I'm going to try to keep a neutral spine and I'm going to keep my elbows, the eyes of my elbows kind of towards this wall and not towards this back wall, because that's no bueno. If I do that, then my elbows will come out and that leads to shoulder rounding and joint problems, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to avoid doing that. You could either keep your toes tucked or untucked. That's up to you. You'll use choice. And let's see. I want my knees kind of under my hip bones. Okay. And from here, I'm going to inhale my chest forward and my sit bones up. I'm making a nice back bend. And exhale, I'm gonna make a C. So I'm pushing through my hands, pushing away from the mat, and I'm really trying to tuck my tailbone as far as I can. Then inhale. I'm gonna try to pull my shoulders back. Okay, so what you can do here, you could find your own little wiggles if you want to wiggle your arms back and forth, your torso, you could do that. You could do that also in your arched back. You can kind of look back towards your heels if that feels nice. It feels nice. Okay. You can swing your hips side to side. Okay. Well, wherever you're at, when you feel kind of warmed up and ready, you could tuck your toes. You can tuck your toes and go ahead and press up into a downward facing dog. From here, shake your head out, shake it yes and no. Let it just kind of be real heavy, floppy. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Sometimes I like to try to look at my belly button. But sometimes that also is a little too much, so it depends what you're looking at, what you're trying to work on. What do you want out of the stretch? I'm gonna try to sink my heels to the mat because my hamstrings do feel all right. And then I'm gonna bend them and come into a forward fold. Okay, let me make sure I'm not flashing anybody. Okay. I'm gonna give a nice squishy bend. And I'm going to reach up towards the sky and melt back down to the mat, but immediately just one dive back down and then flat back. And exhale, step it back to downward facing dog. From here, we're going to go into a one-legged dog. So you want to, you really want to put your left foot towards the center of the mat. If you're used to doing your dog kind of hip distance apart, then move your left foot to the center, and then you could lift, sweep your right leg back, and try to keep your hip neutral. So your toes should still be facing the floor. If your toes are facing towards me, then that probably means that your hip is externally rotated. You've opened up your hip. Try not to open up your hip. I know it's really hard, but let's work on it. Yeah. There's times to open up your hip and times to not. Cool. So what helps with that is to imagine, it helps to imagine someone pulling through your hamstring. You want the line of energy to go through your heel, so you want a nice straight line of energy through the back of your leg. So do try to imagine the back of your leg being pulled up, and that could help, and try to press away from the mat. Okay, and from here, tuck your knee into your chest and shift forward so that your elbows are over your wrists. Wow, I don't know any words today. Okay, so here we go. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, and on this next exhale, place your your foot between your hands. Okay, and spin your back heel. You want your back heel to be kind of at a 45-degree angle. Okay, and your hands are still on the mat. You could kind of widen the stance of your feet if you need for balance. Okay, and your right knee should be over your right ankle. Okay, and from here, you want to start to feel some energy from the root of your spine, and you're gonna stack your spine as you've done before. Okay, and from here, I'm going to press my hips forward. I want to feel a stretch in my left left hip. And I also want to see if I'm kind of putting my butt to the camera. If that's the case, try to hook your hip back so it's not like that. Sometimes I might even wrap myself around just to try to encourage it. I might put a little wrap there. Wherever you're at, you could try to take both hands up. Inhale, try to bend a little more in the front leg. My ribs are really poking out, so I'm going to try to bring those in, and I could feel a stretch in my quad when I do that. Okay. Now, here, go ahead and interlace your fingers, and you're going to take your right, what is this called? Right shoulder into your right knee, and again, try not to splay your hips out. I'm going to try to keep your hips nice and neutral, and then you could lift your hands, try to get them up and over your head. Use your breath. This is Humble Warrior. Ooh, okay. When you're ready, come on out. Back into a Warrior One. And from here, you're gonna take your back leg and you're gonna make it face the back wall. Your left leg face the back wall. This is not, I'm gonna flip around so you can see. Okay, so this leg is gonna be facing now towards the camera, and my knee is over here. And I'm gonna take my arms out. If you have a hard time with your elbows, you could do palms up to encourage your elbows to go down. I mean your shoulders, not your elbows. Okay. Try to keep a nice bend. Try to keep your whole body kind of facing this way. And when you're ready, you could reverse your warrior. I like to really try to reach up when I reverse my warrior. Instead of going to the side, I like to try to reach up as much as I can. Okay. And okay, now we'll go ahead and cartwheel your arms down. And when you do that, keep that back one going and come into a nice little twist. Okay, then you could go ahead and be back in downward facing dog. I'm gonna turn around into my normal position because I'm getting uncomfortable. Okay. From here, let your breath be your anchor. Okay, and when you're ready, step on up to the top of the mat and gather up all your good feelings. Bring it to your heart. I hope this microphone is not being too loud. I'm so sorry if it is. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do Warrior 3. We'll skip it for today. We'll do it on the next video, perhaps. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and sweep your arms up and over. And swan dive down. And step back into a downward facing dog. Okay, now from here, I need to adjust the flashing people. Okay, from here, move your right leg into the center and your back leg up. Your left leg up. Make sure your toes are facing towards the ground and not towards the back wall. Okay, now on your exhale, you're gonna shift forward and bring your knee into your chest. And on your your inhale, you'll stretch back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rock forward. Inhale and exhale, step your foot between your hands. Wow, my words, man. Okay, and from here, place your heel on the ground and make sure your back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Make sure your hips are square, and when you're ready, go ahead and lift up. Inhale, exhale. Exhale, I'm gonna try to melt my hips forward so I can feel a nice opening stretch in this hip. And I'm trying to always get this hip back. Okay, go ahead and interlace your fingers behind you and get your left shoulder to your left knee. Make sure your hips are still neutral, and if you can, lift your hands off your back into a humble warrior. Okay, and take a couple breaths, and then come back up into Warrior One. From Warrior One, we're going to transition into Warrior Two, like so. So you're gonna open up your hips, and you are going to try to get that nice bend in the front one and a nice non-bend in your back one. I'm trying to drop my tailbone to the floor and encourage my shoulders to go down my back. Go ahead and reverse your warrior. Again, I like to reach up to the sky, and when you do this, don't forget, don't lose that bend in your front foot. And try not to also crunch your side too much. That's why I like to lift up. Okay, and when you're ready, come back to Warrior Two. Windmill your hands into a twist. Just a little baby twist. And when you're ready, come back into a downward facing dog. Okay, and again, come back into your three-legged dog with your right leg up. Take it into your chest and take it across. Do a pigeon. So, how do you explain that? Your right knee should be by your elbow, by your wrist, your right wrist, and you're trying to sink your hips into the ground. Try to keep your hips square. You don't want to spill out this way. You don't want to spill out of yourself. If you find you can't keep yourself up straight, you could put some blankets. Put a little blanket or a block under there. Just try to get your hip this way. Try to work your right ankle towards your left wrist. But find your edge. Don't push yourself too hard. Pushing yourself too hard is not very sustainable, and you could cause some injuries. So try not to do that. Okay. We hold a lot of motions in our hips. So you could come down to the elbows if you like. So this could be a very emotional pose for some people. It could be very relaxing, very restorative, very cleansing of your emotions for this one. So yeah, I always like the hip openers though. That's my personal preference. This one's pretty good. Okay, when you're ready, kind of walk your back foot up a little bit, put your hands on the mat, and lift back into a downward dog. And we're gonna sweep your left foot up, bring it in towards your chest, put your left knee to your left wrist, and then I like to walk my legs back with my right toes. I like to do that. I also, for a minute, like to keep my right toes tucked so that I could look around and see that my leg is still straight. So what could happen is you might undo that and your toes will be facing this way and you'll spill out like this. So don't tweak that. I like to do that. It keeps my hips kind of neutral. Okay, and then once you're ready, you can come down to your elbows or all the way down. You put your head down. You could do a little twist. There's a lot of variations you could do with pigeon, but you know, I also think you can't really go that wrong with good old classic pigeon. It does the job for sure. Ooh, okay. And let's see. I like to relax the muscles I don't need. Check in with, you know, maybe your jaw or your quads or I don't know, something else. But whatever you, let go of whatever you don't need in this posture. Okay, and when you're ready, you could go ahead and spill onto the side. And I'll come into a Sukhasana. You could go into a Shavasana, dead corpse pose. That's the end of this practice for today. Thank you for coming out and practicing with me. I'll see you next week in the next week's video. So please don't forget to subscribe to help grow my channel. And until then, namaste.